Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel here at Crypto Nation. Hey, if you're new here, it's totally free. Subscribe and hit the like button for post notifications. And I just want to say thanks to my recently new subscribers. Anyways, let's get right onto it. So we got um hit another episode of Crypto Nation Reacts. We got the title of this one is from the Altcoin Daily. Breaking United States to buy 5% of all Bitcoin. So let's see what they're talking about. This is the Altcoin Daily. They got a pretty big crypto platform. They have a pretty big following. They just keep us up to date on the news, what's going on with the crypto market. Anyways, on this episode, like I said, don't forget to subscribe, share, hit the like button for post notifications, and let's see what they're talking about here. All right.
If I am elected, it will be the policy of my administration, United States of America, to keep 100% of all the Bitcoin the U.S. government currently holds or acquires into the future. We'll keep 100%. I hope you do well, please. This will serve in effect as the core of the strategic national Bitcoin stockpile.
You know Kennedy is pushing for this.
I intend, as President of the United States, to sign an executive order on day one, directing the Department of Justice and the U.S. Marshals to transfer the approximately 200,000 Bitcoin held by the U.S. government to the United States Treasury, where it will be held as a strategic asset. On day one as president, I will sign another executive order directing the U.S. Treasury to purchase 550 Bitcoin daily until the U.S. has built a reserve of at least 4 million Bitcoins and a position of dominance that no other country will be able to usurp. Our nation holds approximately 19% of global gold reserves. This policy will give us about the same proportion of total Bitcoin. The cascading impact from these actions will eventually move Bitcoin to a valuation of hundreds of trillions of dollars.
Now, you may say to yourself, well, what if
For a little savings, Specialist Miller buys in bulk. For a lot of savings,
Kamala wins? She hasn't said that she's for this. And it's true, Kamala might not be for this.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been, you know?
What if I told you that it doesn't matter what Kamala thinks? The wheels are already in motion. Senator Cynthia Lummis, she's spearheading this. So this was first announced at Bitcoin 2024 Nashville. I was there. I caught this live.
In the Senate of the United States to establish a Bitcoin strategic reserve, a network of secure storage vaults, purchase program, and other programs to ensure the transparent management of Bitcoin holdings of the federal government. With a strategic Bitcoin reserve, we will have an asset that in that period of time before 2045 can cut our debt in half.
This was immediately after Donald Trump's speech, though. So it was kind of unannounced. Everybody was already walking out. Today, we finally have more info. I'm so bullish on this. The 5-year plan happens like this. Listen.
You talk about a 5-year period for acquiring these Bitcoins. So it's 1 million Bitcoins, not more than 200,000 a year over 5 years. Tell me about that time frame and the strategy behind it.
Currently, we have over 200,000 Bitcoin that are held as forfeited assets in the asset forfeiture program. So we'd start there. Then we would convert our gold certificates, not our gold, because gold is a hard asset. Bitcoin is a hard asset. We want to be able to back the US dollar with hard assets. But we could use our gold certificates that are held at $42 an ounce. That's the statutory number that was used in the 1970s. Take them up to market, which gold is now around $2,400 an ounce, and then use that market value to convert to US dollars and convert US dollars to Bitcoin. So we would have a diversified asset allocation of hard assets, including gold and including Bitcoin. It not only creates a diversified asset allocation because we already have US dollars and treasuries and foreign currencies. It adds another very hard asset that could be put in cold storage, just the way we hold gold in cold storage, and allow it to grow in market value, backing the US dollar. If we held 1 million Bitcoin for 20 years, we would have enough money to reduce the national debt in half.
And of course, the question that everybody is asking is why? Why does the US need to hold Bitcoin? Why is this a good idea? Now, we understand this. If you subscribe to Altcoin Daily, we were telling you to buy Bitcoin when it was much lower. Make sure you subscribe to stay on top of future crypto trends. How do we explain this to the doubters, though? Why does the US need to hold Bitcoin? Amazing explanation.
Compared to something like gold, which we know generally is kind of upward moving over time.
The answer is very simple, guys. This is the future, future of finance, and this is the future of money, and this is true digital gold. That's the best way to explain it, and nobody could control it, and it's global. You can buy it all around the world. So the answer is very simple. It's good to see they're finally going to be getting on board, with this.
Bitcoin is a much more volatile asset. Why is it important for the U.S. economy to be holding Bitcoin specifically compared to something like gold or oil?
And the answer is because Bitcoin is scarce. It is issued every 10 minutes. Miners mine for Satoshis, which are fractions of Bitcoin. And it's produced basically on a mathematical formula until it hits 21 million. So the supply is finite, and its scarcity gives it value like a hard asset like gold. It's immutable, and it holds even more of the characteristics of a hard asset than does the US dollar. And so from its history, which is now 15 years long, it has grown about 55% per year on average. Yes, it has volatility, but over time, that volatility is even going to start to reduce because of ubiquitous adoption of Bitcoin. There's going to be so many nodes all over the world that keep the whole Bitcoin blockchain from beginning until current on each individual computer. So you can't hack it. And that helps also define it as a hard asset.
Look, guys.
Well, there you go, guys. She kind of breaks it down in a nutshell of why this asset is very important.
My opinion, now is a great time to get into crypto. Higher highs.
$10 can help fund powerful ads to reach undecided voters nationwide.
Are coming, and rate cuts are coming. The former Fed Vice Chairman Roger Ferguson confirmed this on CNBC yesterday after Jerome Powell's comments.
A reduction in our policy rate could be on the table as soon as the next meeting in September.
Most people aren't realizing this. We have rate cuts coming. Rate cuts are coming before the end of the year, maybe multiple.
Jerome Powell seemed to go out of his way to say that a rate cut in September was not a foregone conclusion, yet that is what the markets believe. What was your takeaway from the press conference and from the statement?
Look, I think he went out of his way to say it's not a foregone conclusion, but I also think, frankly, it's far more likely than not. A couple of things struck me in the press conference. One was the revelation that some of the members had actually discussed a rate cut at this meeting, which for me was a bit of a surprise. And secondly, Powell did say that the economy is roughly in balance. And the logic of an economy that's roughly in balance, not too hot, not too cold, suggests that you don't really need to have short-term interest rates in restrictive territory. So I think the logic of the argument tends to lean much more towards a higher probability of a cut than maybe Chair Powell was willing to admit yesterday.
I'm actually curious, not so much about September, but what you think the rest of the year really bodes, and whether you think we get a second rate cut, and then maybe even if you could start to extend it out farther than that.
Well, I think that's right. And so I've been in the camp that, probably 2 this year, because as I think consistent with what we're just talking about, the dual mandate does come into play. Even one cut of 25 basis points does not take the short-term rate out of restrictive territory. Powell was clear that they weren't thinking of a single cut of 50. One of the reporters asked the question. That does not mean that they're not imagining, if things unfold as they expect, that they'd have 2 cuts this year. Going further out, we still have a data-dependent Fed. But I could imagine, some further reduction in rates, assuming the economy continues to, come in as expected, with inflation continuing to come down. But as Powell went out of his way to say, it is a data-dependent Fed, so we shouldn't get ahead of the data just yet. But I would say 2 cuts certainly should be conceivable this year if things unfold as we hope and expect they will.
And so Cynthia is introducing this bill now, and it will go into a comment period for several months. We could see this approved in 2025, though. So from 2025 to 2030, the U.S. government stacking Bitcoin.
I'm going to file it now so people have a chance to comment on it. So it's more like a discussion draft. It's a new concept to so many people that I want to get feedback about it between now and January, the end of the year. So I don't expect that it will be taken up this year. But it's definitely something that should be taken up next year. We want this feedback. We think that because the Bitcoin community itself understands the technology, which is a neutral technology, it doesn't have anything to do with politics. We think the Bitcoin community is going to understand this and is going to support this. We think people who understand asset diversification and holding things on balance sheets at their current value as that value changes over time will understand this. We think people who really haven't grasped what Bitcoin is, how much it's used around the world, how many people hold it, and how it holds the characteristics of hard assets like digital gold. We think they're the ones that need to think about this more. So that's why we're going to introduce it and just let people think about it, learn more about it, discuss it, and get us feedback. So in 2025, it will have had enough exposure in the public forum to be ready to go.
Hey, if you're going to Token 2049 in Singapore in September and you want to be a part of a great side event that we'll be a part of, we're going to be part of this. I'm going to leave a link to this in the description. Sign up for this. Join us. This is the side event to be at. Web3 with Toby and Brent. This is going to be so big and so worth it. They're not even plugging it as a side event. They're saying this is going to be the event to be at. But Token 2049 is great in general, so hopefully we see you at this. There's never been a better time to get serious about crypto. Subscribe to our channel, join our team. We put out daily videos, keeping you informed on everything happening in the space. If you're interested in making money in crypto, subscribe to the channel.
I love you. All right, guys, that concludes the episode. So there we have it. Bitcoin now is at 65,177. It actually pumped from 62,000 from earlier today. So I believe this recent flash crash that we got was really to kind of scare retail or get retail to revamp our portfolios, to rebuild our portfolios, whatever. I know I am. But anyways, there's the news. See what's going on here. Check this out. It says major Bitcoin investors increased holdings in July. So I believe honestly this recent flash crash was really kind of a fake out, or it's a real flash crash, but it was really meant to shake out a lot of retail, because we know they're getting ready for this parabolic run. So they purchased over 84,000 Bitcoins. But yeah, it's a lot going on. But yeah, we just got to keep our eyes on a prize. But anyways, don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, for post notifications. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.